I welcome you all here. People have come from Bangalore, people have come from Mumbai, people have come from Gurugram also. I think it felt the same. Uh, I'm very happy right now sitting with them in such a serene atmosphere, AC, cool. I would be dreading myself if it was 2 days before the concert, you know. But jokes apart, we need them here. The chat here, basically, from all of you, is to we are a lot of organizers here from regional, overall IP producers, concert producers. Is how brand engagement has changed with live, how brands are viewing live as a changing space. Okay, Khushbu, I'd like to start with you. Uh, no reason, because Kingfisher, I think, is one brand which has been associated with live for years now. Okay,
Yeah.
and we've seen a change in terms of how you engage now with live. Uh, you have created something new as a designation and a department in Kingfisher and UBL. So, would like to hear that. Ki what's the new innovation? What is the portfolio that you hold, and what difference is that making in terms of engaging with life?
First is thank you for having me. I think I joined UB 2 years back, and it went from events just being a part of, or way to market, from creating a whole division to setting up experiences and being, to be very honest, and very very integral part of the whole marketing structure. We went from just doing events to sample our products to getting into events to create experiences and not for sampling. And I joined UB to head the function for experiences and take care of all the brands. And for people who do not know, it's not just about Kingfisher or an Ultra, but we have a lot more in store. Let it be an Amstel and a Heineken Silver. I handle all of that for the country, but what's more important is we build experiences in our own way now and not reliant only on what you see at the bars.
Exactly. I would like to add here is that I've been attached uh, with UBL for a long term. I have a friend here, Nikhil. We started Sunburn, and Kingfisher has been supporting that. And uh, we used to interact with brand managers. Okay, now we interact with you because there's a layer that you bring in terms of creating the experience, because it's not just being there. So that's a new innovation and that a brand is bringing in, and I think you see live as a big space to engage with. So that's
Yeah, I mean, music has been our primary space and the landscape that we venture into. But as United Breweries, it's not just music, it's music and sports. We went from just me starting the function to a team of 7 only doing experiences, which went from experiences, execution, social media strategy, everything for events separately now, and like a whole team. So, yeah.
thanks, Kushbu. Jay, I'll come to you next. Uh, Jay takes care of Diageo, and here I would want you to basically tell us in terms of what's the process you take, in terms of, as she said, they have multiple brands, and you guys have multiple brands which are supported live and different genre of live. What is the process that goes through? Because we send you a presentation, we send you an Excel, okay, and obviously there's a process. So can you just give us some
Yeah,
insights
sure.
there?
First of all, thank you for having me here. It's a great opportunity and a platform. Congratulations to the entire Shows of India team. Now, you're actually asking me business insider information.
Business
That's
insights,
that's
brand
that's not
insight,
correct.
and
But
how do you
I'll
and to do with live. Yeah.
yes. So there are multiple factors which are involved in taking this decision of whether to invest and how much to invest, right? But let me just break it down into three critical pillars. First is, of course, what is the relevance of the IP with the brand? Second is, what is the relevance of the audience with that IP? Third is, what is the scale of impact that we are looking at? Now, when we put these things into consideration, we actually get to know that if this IP is actually going to move the needle for our consumer or commercial goals. If the answer is yes, then definitely we back it with confidence. But what's also important is that we very critically evaluate our partners who we invest with. Because it's very important to have a seamless experience, an experience which is measurable. Because we all speak a lot about ROI in events, right? It's very, very difficult to actually count on if that event is actually selling my bottles or no. So that's why it's very important to partner with such agencies who are giving us metrics which are measurable, which is going beyond just data points, giving us consumer insights, and not just making us visible there, but making us memorable. That's what we look after.
Great. I know ROI is something that we all try to work out, and we try to convince you all that it is right ROI with all the excels. And but I'm sure as time goes by, we will have real ROIs in terms of which are measurable, and many teams are working on that.
100%, 100%. We are actually working towards creating frameworks which will establish, or I can put it correctly, predefined costs, predefine our investments, and actually measure our return before the event actually happens. So there are a lot of AI tools in the market which we are closely working with, a lot of tech in the back end. So yeah, exciting times ahead.
Thank you. Uh, Kabir, I'll come to you next. All right. We have I've spoken to Khushbu and Jay. We have brands here which engage live, in terms of when the live event is happening, they're engaging live with the people. So the journey is much longer, and I'll come to that in terms of, but you're a brand which is lifestyle, okay? How do you look at live industry, and how does it connect with your audience, and how do you see that as a tool to engage with the audience?
Sure. So I think having worked with some of the most iconic fashion wear brands, I think I can take the liberty to say that, fashion does not reflect culture, it drives it today, right? So, and the most powerful way today that you can drive culture is to be in the middle of communities. It's to be where it's celebrated the most in the heat of live entertainment and excitement that comes out there, right? So when from a brand like United Colors of Benetton, we look at sponsorships. The most important factor for us is to look at the storytelling, right? So I mean, let me step back a little. Being in the country for over 30 years, the challenge is not to put the brand logo or to have brand visibility, but is to have a very strong emotional imprint. And I think that is what drives us. Um, it's also about how engaging and how authentic the storytelling is. And I think we look at it from that lens. And being a legacy brand, it is also important that we keep the international DNA very, very strong in terms of the people or the IPs that we work with.
Sure, got it. Uh, Only coming to you. Okay. First of all, tell us a bit more about Hell Energy. All right. Uh, we want to know it's a leading player across the globe. Europe. It's doing well in India right now. You're spreading. Can you tell us a bit about Hell Energy and also about how you're engaging with the live audience, basically?
In terms of Hell Energy, uh, we started in Europe in 2006 from Hungary, and in the last 19 years we have gone into 60 plus countries, and we are one of the top 3 brands in the energy drink space globally in terms of number of units sold. So when it comes to India, so we started in 2018, and in the last 7 years, currently we are number one again in number of units sold in India in the can segment.
Guys, that is a story which is the most recent company, and the numbers are actually something that we should applaud because that's how they're growing. Yeah.
So we started looking at live events from even before COVID era. So we used to work with Supermoon that point of time, doing VPRAC shows, and there are lot of shows which we have done. And now in the last couple of years, we have focused on tier 2 and tier 3 markets, not metros as such. And we do a lot of shows in these markets because our product is actually affordable in terms of price point. We sell at 50% price of the other premium energy drinks. So we focus on the tier 2, tier 3. So this is one of the big opportunity for us to actually blend with the culture and emotion of these audience who are there. And as the others have put in, so it's emotional connect which comes large when we actually give that kind of experience in live to these audiences.
Thanks, Tony. Thanks also to bringing in the tier one and tier two markets. I will want to delve into that as we go along, in terms of life. Uh, Akash, now, here's somebody who's actually a legacy brand, but been a B2B brand for years. Now you're turning towards a B2C segment. You have multiple brands under your portfolio. How do you see life? Okay, this might look repetitive that I'm saying how do you see life but we are here because of life. So how do you see B2B being turned into a B2C brand and where you see life coming in there? Yeah.
Uh, Hi everyone. I hope I see a lot of people, which is a very good thing. I thought there's not going to be anybody in this session. So I take care of Donia Group. Donia Group is a 40-year-old group into suitings, but now over the last 5 years we have acquired quite a lot of companies. We have acquired OCM, which is turned 100 years last year. We have acquired Grasim from Aditya Birla. And with the entire portfolio, we have close to 12 odd brands in suitings, which include the Italian brands also. Uh, I come from a different background altogether. I'm from media. I've been with Times of India for a very long time. I used to head experiential marketing, and I used to handle brands like Femina, Filmfare Awards is what we used to work with. A lot of people here have worked on the project with us. What I learned when I came in is every company has a different marketing playbook. When it's a owner-driven company, they decide what needs to be done. For them, every marketing is hoarding लगा दो, चार ad निकाल लो, TV पे चला दो. When I came in, I realized that the entire marketing playbook had gathered dust. There was nothing. So I asked them, why do you need somebody from media to come in? Is if you want to change, then don't interfere what needs to be done. And I'm glad that that has happened. And last year we actually launched a new brand wherein it was like a fight with the board saying, I don't want to use any ATL medium, and we just launched a brand digitally. I didn't want to create an ad. We created a music video with Tiger Shroff, and that's crossed about 12 million views. So that's when I realized that a brand like Neo Stretch, if it's for an 18 to 34-year-old, where are these people? These people are not looking at television. They are not reading newspapers. I mean, I don't remember reading the newspaper last time. So when I see live events, I am not restricting myself to just music events. I am looking at live events that can be anything. In today fashion, I don't think so. There is anything but your Bombay Times and Delhi Times Fashion Week and LIFW. I don't want to come to any of these parties as just a sponsor. How many of you guys attended the Diljit concert that happened all across India? I can see hands. Which brand do you remember? Which brand do you remember sponsored the concert? Levi's. I remember Mokobara. There were 12 sponsors who had spent shitloads of money. Sorry if I can use it. But that had come to me also to take all the shows for about 25 to 30 odd crores. The only problem is right now we are treating sponsorships as logos and kitna paisa aa sakta hai. The time you start thinking that, okay, this is my property, this is a perfect fit with the brand, let me figure out what I can do which can go beyond just being a logo, then I'm very happy to be a part to it. Just started exploring with Manuj. We did a concert with him just to see and test waters. I think it was Farhan Akhtar concert. So we started with that to see how it is. Then I went ahead and sponsored a couple of film awards because Filmfare छूटता नहीं है DNA में से. So once that was done, then I realized that I am here as a brand. Like in this panel with Diageo and with UB and with UCB, you don't expect a Donier. You'll be like Donier मेरे dad पहनते थे. So what am I doing on this panel? I'm saying that I am here. I am looking for ideas. I'm looking to co-partner. We've launched Donier Studios. I would rather create my own IPs if I don't find one. But that's the importance that we are giving to IPs this year.
Thank you, Akash. Thank you for the
You know
info.
what? You know what, Akash? What you said, right? It shouldn't be about logo. I think I met so many people in the room today, and everybody who met me who said, "Oh, we're here for your session," because I know their proposals are sitting in my inbox and they're still there and not responded because it is just about a logo and about how they want money against it. And I think it's high time that people realize that brands have moved forward from being okay with just the logo as a deliverable because it's a big artist. If we just have to do that, you're right, we can create our own IPs. And I think that the brands pivoting to just doing an event for the sake of doing it because it's a great artist, I think that's really dying down. And wanting to create something valuable where we are looking for a consumer journey because we're looking to connect with the audience that's coming for the event. And that is why we're doing it. And I think that's getting lost in that logo, and across 10 Excel rows saying, okay, here is all your logos. And I think that really needs to change for us because yeah, for everybody who met me who said, we're here for you, not responded because of the same deliverable.
I think that's music to our ears. At least our first KVs will get launched faster, in terms of ye logo bada karo, wo logo bada karo. No, I don't think, I think we as live producers have experienced that the value brands are bringing to live. You know, there is so much we can add in terms of experience, but what brands do in terms of the journey of life, we focus our journey on the one day when the artist is performing, but it's through the brands that our story goes beyond, you know, not in just some creating experience on ground, but creating experiences before that. So, uh, Kaveri, how do you do that? You have retail, you have engagement communities. So, how do you treat live, pre, post? You know?
So I think we work on this formula called 1 is to 9 is to 100. So if the live event is 1 and we're reaching out to 9 in the community on ground, social gives us the leverage to meet 100 people online, right? So that's the basis of the mathematics that we do at our end. But if we leave the Excel sheets aside, I think it is very, very important for us today to seamlessly connect online and offline to online because everything is connected on a click of a button. So when we create these stories, and like I said earlier, that it is not just about the brand visibility, it is about what we create with these live events. We look at the total aspect because, when we choose an IP or a music concert, it's done from a very, very different lens. But the idea is to connect with the audiences. Now, who's this audience? He's the same guy who's shopping with me on my online store. He's coming to my brick and mortar store. He's engaging with me on my community on a social media handle. How do I seamlessly bring out a story which keeps the conversation way more meaningful for him? So, whatever we do on ground has a repercussion in our stores. So, we build something around the store, start the story from there because that's our advertising ground. That's where we stand tall in all the brand values that we stand for. So, there is a engagement that starts from there, which leads to online, and that in effect leads to the final event which is happening.
Got it. Uh, so, I'll throw one question to all of you briefly. What are the expectations from live? I do expect branding. कहाँ है? I know I was driving to Shillong. I think I saw more trucks of branding than the Indian troop. I'm not referring who here, but okay. I have people here saying that यार वो t-shirt तो पहनेगा ना. He can't perform without a t-shirt, so why can't it be mine? Okay, so
I think, we got associated for one of the music
Yeah.
concerts. So, I mean, we do our own version of this brand heat index and all the ROIs on a separate note. But what stayed with me as a marketing head was when somebody from the industry called me and said that, how did you make Brian Adams wear Benetton? Now, that is the power of creating experiences, creating meaningful conversations because he wasn't wearing Benetton, right?
Yeah.
So I think that's the power.
Yeah, so I think I should send you another bill for it, but I forgot about it. Jay, now coming down to uh, two things. We have seen India first grow live in IP space, right? IPs were the ones that actually brought life. And now we've seen a constant economy. You have big artists coming, you have small artists coming, you have regional artists doing. How do you decide in terms of your investment? Because when you're supporting an IP, it's long term. When it's a concert, it might be tactical and transactional in terms of your strategy. So how do you decide on this?
Sure. So it's not just one brand that I'm working with.
Yeah.
As we all know that Diageo has a very, very wide portfolio. So it's not just a matter of doing the event for us. For example, let's say a sponsorship proposal comes up to me, and there are many, many partners or organizers who come up to me and tell me, ki, if not Johnny Walker, why don't we try Don Julio? If not Don Julio, why don't we try Bailey's? But in reality, that's not how it works. Every brand has its own ethos. Every brand has its own theme, the brand world, the guidelines. So it's very important for us to find the right fit. If that artist or the IP is actually making sense to the brand. If that question is answered, then the conversation goes forward. Okay, what should we do with it next? It's not a matter of just visibility. It's a matter of how we are making our brand present over there. So that's why it's very important for us to understand what the brand stands for and then matching it with the right IP or the event.
Only you mentioned about tier one, tier two markets. Would you like to want to expand on that? Because I want to then expand the conversation a bit more towards moving away from metros into regional territories, into regional markets, and also moving to artists, which can be supported. So, in your tier one and tier two strategy, what are the kind of markets you're talking about?
In terms of markets, so we leave out metros. We look at markets like Indore, Jaipur, Bhubaneswar, Chandigarh, uh, sometimes Hyderabad. So where we see there's a lot of connect which can be made. At the same time, metros, we see a lot of clutter in metro with so many brands coming in. So when we go to tier 2, tier 3, we don't see as many brands. And the kind of connect we get is much larger, is what we have seen in the last couple of years. When we did BPRAC, we did 10 cities too. And the kind of data we got from tier 2 markets were tier 1, tier 2 were much encouraging compared to the metro ones.
Thank you. Khushbu, coming back to you. Your spread is all India in terms of your market, basically. How do you see the regional market developing in terms of live audience? You've been associated with events which are across cities and they have seen large audience, more than 25,000, And how do you see these cities developing in terms of supporting acts and artists and obviously sponsorships?
To be honest, when it comes to sponsorships and when Jay was mentioning, even I work with a plethora of brands, right? And every brand has a different objective, different market that I'm prioritizing. And to be honest, this keeps changing every couple of months. I think it is extremely critical for not just us as a brand, but organizers, concert providers, everybody to come into a room and understand from the brand first as to one, what is our priority market. To be very honest, until today, maximum proposals I get are tier one and tier two. But we have brands that are extremely strong in the tier three markets, and to be honest, that is where we need more. We do get proposals, it's not as high, but I did see a shift. We just did Arijit Singh in all the tier two markets. And to be very honest, the kind of response we get there versus what we're getting in tier one it's very different, it's vast. Because tier one, we already have so much going that you're right, people don't remember who was a sponsor, right? I was a sponsor at Diljit too, but who remembers except for getting the beers? So, yeah, except for the beers. So, I think one understanding from the brand as to do they even want tier one now is very critical because we, to be very honest, want to move regional. The biggest brand under my portfolio is Kingfisher Premium, and guess what? The maximum revenue and the maximum volume is tier 2 and tier 3, and that's where we want to talk about the brand too. But I think last year is when we saw the shift of bigger shows rather than smaller club gigs and events, which, to be honest, does not give any value to us. And it's not. So I really divide my sponsorships into either, are they giving me volume? Are they giving me impact? Are they at least giving me salience? Are they giving me imagery? It has to fall into one bucket. those smaller club shows in tier 3 markets does not fit anywhere. I think we need more in these markets. We need bigger artists because, believe it or not, they see better ticket sales. They see more people because there's not enough happening. And I think Arijit was a great shift. We did 4 cities. Uh, we did not expect the kind of crowd we did. We did drone shows across all 4 cities. Yes. And the way it has impacted our scores, it's great. I mean, I do see numbers. I see that has done better than what Diljit did in all the 10 cities combined for me.
And by the way, she's talking about Arijit in Jaipur, Bhubaneswar, Cuttack, sorry, Indore and Chandigarh. You know, Hell Energy also was part of 2 of the cities there. Uh, I think see we have promoters here from tier 2 markets here. You know, we have promoters from Chandigarh here. We have from Hyderabad. I won't call tier 2, but Hyderabad, Indore. You spoke about Indore. There are people from Indore here who do events. So it's very heartening. I think this really actually calls for an applaud, where brands are ready to support larger artists. You know, in these markets, because that's something gives us confidence about taking these artists, doing larger tours, and going beyond the metros where we feel safe. But I think even the ticketing data shows right now is the average ticket price in this tier 2 markets, tier 3 market is very high, you know. And one thing we got to understand here is that there is something called out of home entertainment. Okay, the options of out of home entertainment has gone down now with the movie going down. People have started consuming content at home. Actually, live is filling that space. And Jay, would you want to?
I would take a moment to thank these guys because, to be very honest, I feel one thing that keeps coming is, you know, promoters are here from Chandigarh and Indore in a small space. I don't think they get in touch with us because we do get in touch with all the big players in the market, but I think there is a gap in terms of how they're able to communicate with us or getting in touch with us, etc. But I think having a platform like this where, you know, you meet us in a room and be able to at least say hi, and then that's when the chain of communication starts. So one is round of applause and thank you.
Thank you so much. No, that was the idea. That was the idea to why Shows of India is it's Shows of India and not about Shows of Metros is obviously that we want to bring this audience, we want to bring the promoters, we want to give them confidence in terms of growing this industry because it will only grow because India is not just India. India is United States of India. You know, we have so many markets. So and we have the numbers. You know, we are 65% less than 35 years old. So, and we have the buying power. Jay, you want to add something?
Yeah,
to it?
I mean, so everyone sitting here, it's very different when it comes to alcohol advertising and marketing in India. We don't follow the same guidelines that other FMCG brands get. We don't get the same benefit or the visibility that other players can actually get. And there's nothing wrong in it. But that's why live space becomes extremely, extremely important for us. Because we don't get that visibility online or we can't drive that Virat Kohli ad on a television. Because via surrogacy, of course, but there's no direct linkage, right? So these live experiences is an agenda for us to bring our consumer closest to our brand world as we've imagined it. So it becomes extremely important for us to curate them specifically and not just do events, but do events which are memorable and cherishable, which consumers can take it back with them.
Okay, now we're nearing the close, but
I would add something before we close.
Go ahead, Akash, yeah.
One thing I've learned that it's safe to say that tier 2 and tier 3 are enjoying energy drinks and alcohol for sure. What see the logic here is we do a lot of places like Sangli, Nasik, Indore. He's talking about when you go to these places, what you realize is the guys who are there, they have a different lifestyle. I think they have all the money that we don't have put together, but they don't have avenues to spend that. When you create events in these cities and you create events of scale in these cities, for them it becomes a flex. And when it's a flex, they are ready to spend a lot of money when it comes to ticket sales, when it comes to giving you the numbers and crowds and everything. So you should, for us, yes, tier 2, 3, 4 is very important. Metro, obviously. But yes, metro is saturated. And again, like all of us resonate that वो 10 लोगों में एक लोगो बन के रह जाएंगे तो it makes no sense.
Thank you, Akash. Closing statements, okay? How do you see live in the next 12, 24 months, and how about your engagement? I'm not going to ask you how much money you're going to spend,
No, no, I'm not
but
asking.
how do you see it? How do you see the life space growing in India
I'm
and the
gonna
brand engagement with it?
I'm gonna talk about how it's grown for me. We went from uh, doing say 10 to doing 185 events a year. So I think for us as a brand, it is obviously growing. But I also see us really, really pivoting to curation of IPs now. And I mean, if it has to be sponsorship, I think how I see it is we're going to be very, very sure of what we are choosing. It's not going to be, oh, that fear of losing out on a property is gone now. Because if it's not this, it's going to be another one the next weekend. For sure, that is completely gone and taken off the table. So if there's a proposal and we're choosing it, it's because it has something to offer, which is a value. It is something that the consumer I want to talk to is going to be there and is going to get enough material from my brand to engage with it. So we are 100% pivoting to curation of IPs and doing our own things, or as he said, more than just a logo. And I do see us growing 2x more this year.
I should have had this round here because branded IPs are taking over. You know, whenever we go and pitch, one thing comes back to us is saying, "Can you create something for us?" You know.
Yeah.
Uh,
I think a
yeah.
shift in the model in the way sponsorships are done today from okay, we need X amount and you come on board as this title, or there are 3 tiers of sponsorship. I think that needs to be reworked out, because now we are reworking on how we are evaluating it, from it being just a fluid if the artist is great and if it will sell tickets, to what is the actual cost per contact, what is the ROI I'm getting. If I'm moving into more practical decisions, that means we
Yes.
need to work on better frameworks as to, am I going to be just a title or am I going to be more than that, I think.
I mean, that's something we worked last year. We worked with a brand called Legacy from the Bukhari portfolio, and we created something called Legacy Rewind for them, and that's where Farhan Akhtar and Legacy and Farhan, all that. So that was the first brand and happy we created. Cover your closing statements with live and how you want to go forward with it. Yeah.
I think in India, we're midst of something really, really big. I think what happened in the last 2 years is a testimony to this, because sponsorships today are not just about, and especially in the era of culture, commerce, and emotions, it's not just about the communities, but engaging with them in more meaningful ways where you co author an event, a live event, with the organizer and make it a part of a larger cultural moment. So, the question today is not how loud you can go, it is about how deeply you can connect. And I see this as something that where authenticity is going to take over advertising, and purpose will actually drive the premium experiences. And that is a big, big shift that I see in the next few years.
Got it.
I'll keep it short since I think the time's up. But as we all have mentioned and spoken, we've already entered the golden era of live events and experiences, I feel. Growing at a 8.3% CAGR year on year is phenomenal for a market like India, if I can say. But just ending with one statement, good sponsorships are not sponsorships which are just seen, but are the ones which are remembered. So whenever you are pitching or whenever we are getting proposals or when the intent is to partner with a brand, let's just ensure that we also aim towards creating that moment and staying with the consumer.
Thanks, Jay.
So when we talk about live, and it's about live experiences which we can give, which otherwise is not possible. So and since live or concert economy is growing at a very faster pace, it gives a lot of opportunity for the brand. And one thing we look at is how sustainable it is, and also being credible with certain IPs, and we continue that credibility. It actually takes a long way.
Only we see you partnering more live now as we go ahead. Yeah. Akash.
Live is going to grow very, very nicely, like she put. Rather than just being a sponsor, we are also looking at people who can come and curate for us. Maybe there is nothing out there that is required at this point of time, and if there are discussions happening, there is a co-curated IP that can come out. What Coke is doing to music with the studio, We are trying to emulate with Donia Studios there. So we are trying to see different avenues. And if I have a concert that comes to me for such a steep price, I might as well create a PNL and do it with you guys, of course,
Okay,
because that's
we're not talking about competition here. We're talking about
there's the
brand
competition, there's
and live
partnership.
engagement.
So live is going to be more of partnership.
Yeah.
It's going to grow a lot in the tier 2, 3 cities. India needs and it deserves the experiences that are coming. And shouldn't we just restrict it to the 5 or 6 metros that we have? And a lot of new brands that you are not there on your radar will be the ones who are looking at spending. But so you have to do your homework and figure out which brands are the ones that want to do it but don't have the scope or avenue to do it right now.
Thank you all of. Few takeaways that we can take from here is live as a space is going to be a preferred space for brands to engage. Second, live as a space can be a preferred tool for brands if we create memories, you know, and live has that power. Any live concert, even if you attend 10 of them, you will have 10 different memories that you take away. So that is one big power that live has because live can create memories. And how do we create engage those memories with the brand is that we need to work with them. Okay. And third, I think big takeaway from me is that we are going to move beyond the top 5 metros. We're going to move into markets to tier 1, tier 2. That also means that we'll be supporting artists which are not just international. That means we'll be giving opportunity to a lot of Indian artists, a lot of regional artists, which brands will support. Thank you all. Thank you for the session.